All right, John, we are back with our 1997 Raw review. This is the penultimate 1997 Raw show. Next week will be the last one for 97. And then the following week, we'll start our Raw 98 series. And so, because of that, we're recording this in a couple different ways. So, our normal Patreon listeners, this is on the Patreon. We appreciate everything that you all have done for us in subscribing. And the other thing is that we've also put this on our new free Fight Game Media Network, just in case there are people who are listening to our free shows and they want to follow us for the 1998 Raw recaps. They want to rewatch 1998 Monday Night Raw with us and follow our recaps because, there's tons of information from the Observer that we add to give a little context to the stories that are going on. In 1997, it was Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart and all the context of what was going on there. We had, not just the recap of the show, we had the whole story of what was going on behind the scenes as well. So that this is on that, and this is also going to be on YouTube. Our YouTube folks who are watching us now wanted to put this on video because John and I were doing another video, and we just decided, hey, might as well throw this on YouTube as well. So on the Patreon, it is up normal time that we record it, but on the free network and on YouTube, it is actually Christmas Day as people are listening to this and watching this. So, being that it is Christmas time, John, what is the La Rocca Christmas ritual? Like, are you guys a Christmas Eve family where you kind of do your thing? Is it a Christmas Day thing? How much of the family do you get together, and has the pandemic changed any of that?
It's definitely changed it. So it's gonna be a very, especially this year. It's gonna be with what's going on right now. It's gonna be a very, very small get together for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. My wife's she loves Christmas Day, waking up in the morning, presents under the tree, and so that's when we open presents. We do some on Christmas Eve, but mainly the big one is Christmas Day. So we like to see the kids wake up and go,
Yep.
"Oh my goodness!" Now they wake us up. We used to wake them up. Now they wake us up. So
When I was a kid, we did Christmas Eve at my dad's side of the family. Then we did Christmas morning at our house, and then Christmas Day at my mom's side of the family. Then when I got married, we did Christmas Eve with my ex-wife's family at usually at our house. A lot of times at our house. And then the same thing with, home, and then we'd go visit my mom's side of the family. But now, my parents, they're in Tucson, so they're not here. So we don't really have like a Christmas Day tradition anymore. So now we're still going to my
mm,
ex's for Christmas Eve. My wife and I, my kids are going to be there, and I don't get to see that side of the family very often. But now Christmas Day is just like we open the presents with my stepkids. They're gonna come from their dad's house. He comes over. He's probably gonna make breakfast. He used to be a chef. Then my kids are gonna come over. We're gonna watch the Warriors against the Suns, and then we'll do stockings with them. So I'm actually taking my boys to the Warriors game for their gift this year, which is, I don't know, maybe like the
awesome.
most expensive gift that we've ever done. These tickets are ridiculous.
Yeah.
Um, but okay, so what do we do here? So for the Patreon folks, you guys know what we do. This is just going to be for the people listening on the free network, which is how we're going to break this down. So we're going to go segment by segment. We're talking about everything that happened on the show. In this case, there's not really anything in the Observer about this particular episode, though there is a little context about a situation that John and I talked about last week, which is there was a show in Memphis where Shawn Michaels no, actually, I take that back. I think the show was in Oklahoma because they were going to bring Danny Hodge out. And so what happens is Shawn Michaels believes that he's the top guy and that he should be the guy bringing out the fan favorite old wrestling god of that area. And he wanted to do it even though he's the main heel, and his entire act is to get the fans riled up and for them to flip them off and throw stuff. And Shawn was like, no. I can do this. And it didn't work because he got exactly what you would have thought from that fan base. So they were supposed to have a match. It was supposed to be I think it was supposed to be Triple H and Shamrock, and Shamrock was going to win with help from Danny Hodge, but they went into the ring and there was stuff thrown, and that caused Shawn Michaels to say, "Nope, we're not doing this. We're not having a main event match over," and then it caused kind of a riot in the crowd.
Yeah.
So there's a whole thing in the Observer for that week, which is when you're asking fans to like when you're getting so much heat and you're kind of egging on the fans, at what
Mhm.
point does that stop? And there was I guess there was a Nitro where a whole angle was ruined because I think Sting was supposed to come down, and so the arena went black. And then as the arena went black, some of the fans at that point jumped the rail, and so
Oh,
they screwed everything up. So going off TV, it was kind of a bad thing. So that is that is mostly this the story in the Observer about both companies. ECW, I guess they had a situation at some point where Heyman just told the crowd, like, "Look, we're all going home unless you guys stop," and then the crowd stopped. So that's kind of where we are in wrestling. Late '97, lots of you're turning it up. I think Dave said that this is not the same necessarily the same crowd that Vince McMahon kind of created, the family environment. This is a much different crowd
yeah,
than that crowd. So as we go to 1998, I'm sure there's going to be a ton more because the Austin thing heats up and everything is around Austin and people turning heel on Austin and him getting screwed and Vince screwing him and Vince, bringing the Rock in. And so there's going to be tons of this stuff. So I just
yeah.
wanted to lay the groundwork there for the folks who are not following us on the Patreon, just so you know kind of the area that we're at here. So the show is December 22nd. I believe it is a tape show. It's the arena in Massachusetts. What is the arena?
Oh,
It has the balcony and
is it
I
the
f-
one where The Rock won the title, the IC title from Triple H?
yeah, you might be right.
It's a
I don't.
beautiful building for television, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
I really
L-
liked what they had set it up and
It just
everything.
looks packed. It's not
Mhm.
very big.
Yeah.
It just looks packed. And so since it's Christmas themed, the opening of the show we get to see our good friends D Generation X, Triple H, and Shawn Michaels. They come out in robes. And so the announcers are sort of playing it up as in like, uh-oh, they might be naked underneath these robes. The
Jeez.
censors better be ready. Like, I don't know
Yeah.
what these degenerates are going to be doing. And so Triple H cuts down Owen, calls him a nugget. Shawn Michaels reminds everybody that he's beaten the Undertaker, and so they're going to have the match at the Royal Rumble in San Jose. And so they finally disrobe, and they're wearing boxers underneath. And JR and
Kevin
Kevin
Kelly and
Kelly, they're just like, oh, thank God,
yeah.
they have boxers on. But what do? They bend over and they pull their boxers down, and they have thongs. And I think it's like Merry Christmas written across both of their asses or something as they bend over and kind of moon the audience. The censors were very much ready for them.
Mhm.
And I think there was some anticipation by like USA knew that had gotten word or something
Well, it
that
was taped, right? And did it say Generation X censor though? A
yeah,
graphic?
but yeah. So so we got that. So then of course, the party pooper of all party poopers, Sergeant Slaughter comes out. He is
Is he
still
really a party pooper in this situation?
well, he's not a party pooper, but he is someone who comes in and thinks that he's outsmarted everyone, and then as per
Yeah.
usual, didn't really outsmart anybody. So he comes out and he's like, Shawn, you haven't defended this European championship in a month, let alone 2 months since you won it. And Shawn's like, well, have you been paying attention? I'm the world champion. And so Slaughter's like, look, you're going to have to defend this title, and you're going to defend it against Triple H. And if you decide not to defend this title against Triple H, you're going to be stripped. And Shawn's like, I don't mind being stripped. He's a sexy boy.
Yeah.
And so then they build this match for the entire night, which is Shawn Michaels and Triple H. Now, you knew what was going to happen here. We all knew what was going to happen. When you watched back, was their acting at all believable when they were like trying to pretend like they were mad at each other?
No, I didn't believe it back then, but I didn't think they would do what they did. I mean, actually, you know what? I take that back because they actually copied something from WCW. If you remember, if was it 96 or 97, one of those World War III pay-per-views, during a tag team match, it was the Outsiders, Faces of Fear, I want to say Harlem Heat or something like that. Another babyface team or another team. It was like a triangle match or three-way match where Hall was Nasty Boys. That's who it was. Nasty Boys. Hall gets tagged in, and then they also tag in Nash. So they have to face off, and then the babyface is like, "Oh, look, we got these two guys to fight." And Nash comes in Hall, and they square off like this, and then Nash just lays down, and Hall goes to pin him because if Hall wins, they win and retain the titles.
Yeah.
So the babyfaces or all the other two teams have to come in and kick them off, which they just how stupid was this, right?
Yeah.
So I think this was a play off that as well. Like they got the idea from that. So
in '99, I think Road Dogg and Billy Gunn do this as well with each other. I'm almost. It's either it's somewhere in '98, but I think it's '99. So that they'll do it again. Okay, so they are building to this match that's on the whole show, and there's actually a start about the first hour in, and then they don't do it, so then they come back in the main event segment. They do these little segments where China is kind of the person who's like out, the smart one, and they're going all crazy, pissed off. They're all, for some reason, they're all wearing this shirt called China Syndrome.
That's like her new shirt must be out there.
Yeah,
so.
her new merch shirt.
Yeah.
So then, she whispers to them because she's got this super deep voice, so I guess they don't want her to speak yet. And she's like kind of telling them like, what the deal is. So I guess she's the smartest of the three and like put the whole plan together or something.
Lame.
Okay, so I was kind of thinking because we've seen some of these shows, and this, I'm trying to think. This one actually might have been. Was this the live one or was this the taped one? I always forget.
This was definitely taped because there were some hard cuts and
okay.
Yeah.
So I was trying to think like because Henry Godwin against Thrasher, this match is like 30 seconds before there's like a disqualification.
Maybe a little longer. Okay, let's give him a minute 30. But it was it was going all right. It was fine, but I was like, are we really doing a Thrasher versus Henry Godwin match here? I mean, I'm sure people tuned out to go watch what's going on Nitro for sure.
Yeah, so I was just kind of wondering why there's such a short match. Was it because they knew that the channels were going to be changed, or was it because they had packed too much stuff on this show? I didn't know what one it was.
I'm guessing a little bit. I'm guessing maybe the first segment went a little long. I'm sure it did, right? But then you're right as well. Like we can't have these guys go out there and do 6 minutes, so people would tune out. So they did a quick disqualification. I like the Godwins though. I just wish they would have done more with them. But again, of course, Godwin's injury, I think, finally really caught up to him, his neck injury. So,
all right. So then the next segment is Mankind. He's in what they called the bowels of the building. It's very much a Vince McMahon, word usage there. We met Mankind almost in the boiler room. So, he is one who likes to go deep inside these buildings. And so dude Dude Love, he beats Billy Gunn and he beats Road Dogg in consecutive weeks, and then they keep beating him up after. So he got hit with the title, and then he gets thrown off of the stage and through the table on the last show. So I guess when you transform from Dude Love into Mankind, like you become 100% healthy again because you're like a new character. Because
Mhm.
Mick was just Mankind doing the crazy Mankind stuff, and going for vengeance here. And so then the next segment is footage of Stone Cold Steve Austin, and I'm guessing this was from the previous show, the live show.
Yeah, yeah.
He is in the ring, and is that Steve Lombardi as Santa
Yes.
Claus? So
Yeah.
Steve Lombardi is Santa Claus, and I guess right before Austin comes out, there's a young child in who's she's by ringside when Austin comes down. But I guess they were doing something with Santa and the kids, and then Santa kicked the kid out because he was waiting for Sable or something, or
Mhm.
they had mentioned that. So Austin comes out, he starts talking to Santa, and he gets Santa to stand up so that he could check him out. Santa stands up, boom, stunner, and beats up Santa Claus. So Austin saves the child. Now, it's weird because there is a second Santa segment on this show. I'm assuming this was just a way to get an Austin segment on this show, but it's like it was so weird the way that they did it because of the
Well
theme of the show.
well, they had the first clip of I think the first clip they showed was a preview was gonna like, "Oh, we're
Yeah.
gonna see this
Yeah.
conversation."
Right.
Did you so they're in Massachusetts. So the girl was a boy,
Is that
right?
what it was? Was it a
Yeah,
boy?
but the long hair, but I think the boy was Polynesian. He's
Okay.
wearing a San Francisco 49ers
You
jacket.
think it's Roman Reigns?
No, I think it well, not Roman Reigns, but I'm guessing, Pennsylvania's, I could see them using a lot of office guys, right? For extras for jobs on Superstars or Shaka Saturday Night, whatever they tape. I was wondering maybe this was a family member from, the the Samoan family,
Hmm.
He looked like one that looked like Jay Uso or the other Uso. They looked. I mean, just that's. I'm like, wait, because they said son. He said boy. Come here, son. So they
Okay.
must know. Yeah. So I'm guessing he's from the office side of the family or whatever. So
Okay. Yeah, because it couldn't have been Roman, because Roman is like a little bit younger than you. And in
hmm
97, he's probably a teenager already. Yeah, I don't think it could have been Roman.
um, gotta give it up for Steve Lombardi to keep that beard on. Getting stunned, he's still there to keep that beard on. Get thrown through the ropes out to the ring. Kept the beard on. Respect, Steve Lombardi. What a great worker.
All right, so the next match is The Rock against The Undertaker. Now, we know what's going to happen here. We've seen it week after week after week. Kane's coming out at some point. Rock is putting the boots to Taker. Long sell for The Undertaker before he finally makes his comeback, hits The Rock with the tombstone. And right when he does, the lights go out. Kane comes out with Paul Bearer. The arena is darkened red. And this is JR's just like, I know we're gonna get it. Undertaker's gonna fight back for once. Nope. Undertaker blue balls everybody, and he does
Yeah.
not fight back. He kind of he's about to throw a punch, and he doesn't. He just takes a beating, and Paul Bearer's screaming at him to fight back. But nope, Undertaker will not fight Kane, and he doesn't have any friends, so he just has to take this beating from this monster.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how they can continue this for another 3 weeks or right till the Rumble, because the Rumble, I know what happens at the Rumble, but it's interesting. Like, how long they could tease without them having some really big physical confrontation.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so about to get Triple H and Heartbreak Kid. Michaels is in the ring. Triple H is coming down the aisle. Owen goes low on Triple H, takes him out back of the knee, and then he runs away. Shawn tries to save Triple H. Owen runs out. Slaughter comes out, kind of got a grin. He's like, you guys finally got yours. But the announcers tried to make it like Owen was a hired gun for Slaughter or something.
Oh man.
That was kind of weird. But so they don't do the match, and they're gonna come back with it in the main event segment. The New Age Outlaws are looking for Mankind in the bowels of the building. And they think that they find him, and they start putting the boots to some guy. I don't even know who that was. But Billy Gunn and Road Dogg are wearing like the hard hats, but the hard hats that got the flashlight on the front.
Yeah.
So that's how they're going through the bowels of the building rather than have just an actual flashlight. That probably works a little bit better, but we had to have the sight gag. And then they don't find him, so they beat up somebody who they think is him, and the search is still on for Mankind. So we get a
Child,
segment.
just stupid stuff, man.
Yeah, it's really dumb.
This is horrible. I can't believe this show was really, really, really bad.
You know what's interesting about this show, though? We're kind of wondering when the ratings kind of turn to WWF. This was the closest it had been in probably for most of the year was this week, and this show sucked. But I guess Nitro was just as bad. I think they were doing NWO Nitro stuff against them.
Oh gosh.
All right, so we get Mark Marrow against one Scotty Too Hottie, still Scott Taylor here. And this was a little bit different than what I thought it was going to be. Marrow calls out Sable, who is in a Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer costume. And he beats Scotty. I thought that what was going to happen is that Sable was going to undress. Marrow was going to get distracted and Taylor was going to win. That's not what happened. I for some reason I thought that was going to happen. Instead, pins Scotty and he's about to beat him up some more. And the great Tom Brandi comes out. He drop kicks Marrow. Marrow thinks he's outsmarted him, gets out of the ring, and Brandi then drop kicks him. The low drop kick under the bottom rope, the sliding one, and Marrow hits the railing there. And so I'm still wondering, like, okay, Staple's gonna take off this thing. She took off the head part of it, and finally, after Marrow gets beat up, she goes into the ring, and she's basically sexy Mrs. Claus. So it wasn't the crazy costume. Yeah. It wasn't I thought we were getting like the bad one, but I think the reason why they didn't do it is because supposedly there's a LA Times piece that is going to be written about them and the risque angle that they've been taking. So there might have been a little bit of a reaction to the rumor of that piece coming out.
Interesting. I'm glad they didn't do, because you're used to the distraction finish, right? Guy gets distracted by the pretty girl at ringside. He loses. This, I still like that Marrow went over. And I also like the attention to detail when Tom Brandi gave him the slide drop kick under the bottom rope, that when Marrow hit the guardrail, he hurt his knee.
Yeah.
So when Sable saw him down, she got in the ring, was able to strip down, and Mark Marrow just couldn't get himself to stop her. His knee was hurt. I thought that was pretty good.
So then we get Kurgan against it was 8-Ball, right?
Yes.
Kurgan against 8-Ball, short match. Kurgan, they had Don Callis walking out and putting like dots on people's foreheads.
Yeah, weird. And that girl looked like what, 12? That was kind of creepy.
Yeah. And then Jim Cornette says, "Oh, very attractive young woman."
I know. I was like, it's not Dallas, Texas, is it?
I know. Gosh.
Interesting match. When I saw what the match was going to be, I thought, God, this Harris brother is not down to lose here, right? He took the fall. He got back up pretty quick. He didn't lose to the claw. I remember they were trying to establish the claw the other week.
Yes.
And this week they didn't establish it. We went over the side slam. So I don't know. That was pretty funny. And then why was Skull not out there? He just comes out later. You would think he'd be at ringside, right?
Yeah.
But that was funny.
So one of the stories of '97 Raw is Ken Shamrock. We've basically got to see all of his early WWF stuff, and he's had some really good stuff, and then he's had some stuff that he probably wasn't ready for with all the sharks in the back, especially when Brett left. And so they're trying to reestablish him a little bit, and he faces D'Lo Brown, and D'Lo makes this dude look like $1,000,000. Like,
Yeah.
Shamrock looks amazing in this match. He looks like a killer, and, so great job for D'Lo, and all the nation is there, but Shamrock is like he's like the real fighter, so they can't just go and beat him up. There's always a little bit of like a, I don't know if we should attack this guy" kinda thing,
Mhm.
and I didn't remember that this was gonna happen, but The Rock comes out, cuts a promo on him, and they're setting up something for Royal Rumble.
Yeah, that was the Intercontinental title match. So, yeah, you gotta heat up Ken Shamrock again. And that's good though. Like one of the big complaints about today's wrestling, or I think what a lot of people complain about AEW, like like to have a guy in a program, he loses, then he's off TV for a while. It doesn't,
Yeah.
after he was unsuccessful at the Generation X pay per view for Shawn Michaels. Now you give him some wins on TV again, and you put him with the guy that's going to make him look good, like D'Lo Brown is going to bump his ass off for him. So, yeah, it's a fun little match.
So then we get more we get more New Age Outlaws. They find Mankind. Mankind's fighting them off 2 against 1, and then they lock the poor guy in the freezer, and we never hear from Mankind again on
That's
the
it. No one
show.
can. Cameraman could not help him out.
He was
That's
never
weird.
say die though. He's getting shoved in the freezer, but then you see an arm come out, and they're closing it, and it's like trying to keep his arms. And no, then he got closed on. So the worst, on a bad show, the worst segment of the whole show is Goldust and Luna. Embarrassing. Just they're an embarrassment
Oh,
to whatever the heck we are watching until
I hate this crap.
the hero of the show, and this is again Santa Claus. So we get to see 2 different versions of Santa Claus, which is what I thought was weird on the show, but you had to shoehorn Austin in there somewhere. So we see
Yeah.
Santa Claus, and he's kind of like ruining Goldust's little speech or his limerick or whatever he's reading. And all of a sudden, Santa Claus just beats the crap out of Goldust, and he pulls off his Santa costume, and it is Vader. And unlike the Brooklyn Brawler, Vader didn't have to like pad the costume. He just fit it
No,
so perfectly. He's the greatest Santa Claus I've ever seen.
it's probably a little bit of rib on old Leon White there too, as well as we move on to 1998.
So then finally we get it.
The match.
Heartbreak Kid, Triple H. They're doing the running the ropes thing and making a mockery of pro wrestling. And then finally Triple H just does the big splash, gets the pin, and he celebrates by doing the speech from Rocky 2. He said, what does he do? He does, "This is the greatest night in the history of my life. To my kid," he goes, "Even though I don't got a kid, to my kid being born, I did it," or whatever. He did that whole thing. And so they just mocked the whole situation. It was just Shawn and Triple H making fun of the whole
Shawn,
thing, and
Shawn crying.
they got one over on the Sarge again, man.
Yeah, then they cut to the Charge at ringside or by the entranceway, right? And he's like, "You got Owen," like mumbles it.
Yeah. Yeah, and,
I was
and
like,
you
"Wait,
like it's so bad that the announcers have, I think it was Cornette. He had to like
mhm.
cover for Sarge. He's like, Triple H, he didn't hear him. He doesn't know that he's got Owen Hart next week, because Triple H is just excited and cheering and like doing the whole thing. And he didn't sell
Yeah."
it at all because nobody heard about the Owen thing.
Did it feel like they shot this sometime later on the show because they didn't show him? They show him looking towards the ring. They don't show who's in the ring. So I'm guessing
Yeah.
they added on later. They thought,
Yeah.
okay,
I
we
don't
need to
know.
have
It was
something
weird. Yeah.
very weird. Where
It was weird.
just a flat finish to the show.
And Owen doesn't even feel that hot. He just feels like, you know, he just feels like he doesn't like he doesn't feel like the guy who's defending his brother's honor at
Mhm.
these two terrible guys who screwed his brother. He just seems like this vindictive kind of dick. And I don't know if I like that. I feel like they could have done something a little different with Owen.
Well, I think on this segment he should have ran out and attacked him after the match, after they made the mockery of the European Championship and the whole match itself and wrestling itself. So I would have had him come in, maybe bip out Shawn Michaels and then have Triple H. I think that's who he ends up feuding with, right? Is Triple H.
Yeah.
They could have gone out, or whatever. You could have done something like that where Owens left standing at the end after these guys are made a mockery of wrestling and the title.
Yeah. Yeah. It was not good. And if you're Owen, like you're like, oh yay, that's the belt that I'm going for. Is this one that they just goofed on and
Not the
they
world
pissed
title.
on? Yeah. Yeah.
Which is weird.
This
I know.
European. So
Yeah.
yeah, so this was a short one, not a whole lot going on this show. We'll finish it off next week, the 97 Raw. We're gonna have to get a new theme song for 98. Gonna have to get like
Yeah.
a whole new graphic for the show. But yeah, so
Find out who was hot in 98 music wise and just kind of take
I
rip
mean,
off it.
I might get Justin to like whatever the Raw theme song was in 98. Just have him do his own version of it, and maybe
Yeah,
we'll
there you
use
go.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for Patreon folks, again, thank you for subscribing. You guys are the best. For the people listening on the free feed, just go to patreon.com/fight game media. We have 4 Patreon shows in addition to bonus content from all of the shows in the free feed. So $5 a month. And, even if you just do it to support, maybe Carlos and Robert's pound for pound, like they're gonna start doing stuff on once a month for I forgot what Robert said. Maybe it was gonna be like greatest upsets or something like that. And they're gonna talk about,
Yeah.
specific fights. Paul and Ryan, I'm not they're thinking of what they're gonna do. Paul might get some help with that, because I think Ryan may have some scheduling issues with that. But there's tons of stuff to listen to. You don't have to listen to it all. My feelings are not hurt if you get the Patreon and you're just not an MMA fan or you're not a Joshi fan. Like, listen to whatever you want, but I think there is going to be something for folks, and John and I will be there. We're the lead off show of the Patreon every week with our 97 and now 98 Raw recap. So appreciate everybody. If you listen to the free feed, give us a shot. And if you are watching on YouTube as well, hope you enjoyed this. So for John, I am Double G. We will see you when we see you. Peace out.